Every single detail within his field of vision was dominated by a cold, merciless blue. The floor, the walls, and the impossibly high ceiling were all clusters of monolithic, sterile rectangular solids. Colorless luminophores filled the entire space with a uniform, shadowless blue light. There were no decorations, no traces of life, and absolutely no presence of others. Only perfect straight lines and right angles extended orderly into the far reaches of the horizon. "So this is the blue maze," Kay muttered, frowning as his voice failed to echo in any natural way. It felt as though the space itself was swallowing the sound whole. Kay had entered this space to find Y, a close friend and brilliant digital artist who had gone missing days ago. Right before vanishing, Y had shared a cryptic URL rumored only in the deepest corners of the internet. The moment Kay accessed it, his consciousness was forcefully ripped away, diving into this rigid, linear world of blue. Kay summoned his visual user interface. However, the "log out" option at the bottom of the system menu remained heavily grayed out. No matter how many times he tapped it, there was no response. He began to walk. The sound of his own footsteps echoed with an eerie, rhythmic cadence. He turned right at a corridor, then left at the next corner. Attempting to map the layout in his head, Kay suddenly froze after a few minutes. He looked back. The endless straight path he had just traversed was entirely gone. In its place stood a perfectly smooth, unblemished blue wall. The space was reconstructing itself in real time. Physical laws held absolutely no meaning inside this blue abyss. He had lost track of how long he had been walking, even the perception of time eroded under the unvarying light. Suddenly, the space at the edge of his vision flickered violently. Like an old monitor losing its sync, a section of the blue wall deteriorated into digital noise, distorting like static. Within the center of the glitch, Kay discovered translucent text floating in the air. "Log_2026_0523, the real world has far too many curves. It is ambiguous, irregular, and utterly unpredictable. Human emotions, a shifting society, they are all uncontrollable noise. But here, it is different. Here, there are only perfect lines and right angles. Everything remains stationary, exactly as programmed. No one can hurt me here. I am building a perfect sanctuary." "Wise log," Kay whispered. Now he was certain. This maze was no mere glitchy urban legend. Y, utterly despairing over the chaotic complexity of human relationships and society, had constructed this fortress of closed memories to shield his own mind. Y hadn't been trapped. He had chosen this absolute solitude willingly, deliberately destroying the key to log out. As Kay pressed deeper toward the core, the surrounding blue shifted in tone, gradually darkening from a clear cyan to a heavy, abyssal indigo. Along with the color shift, the system's rejection of him grew increasingly hostile. Suddenly, the walls behind him slid forward with a heavy, grinding mechanical groan. The corridor was physically narrowing, attempting to crush Kay. The system had recognized him as an anomaly, a fatal error, and was actively trying to delete him. Damn it! Kay bolted. He sprinted forward down the unyielding straight hallway. Behind him, the walls closed in. Ahead, the cubic floor tiles plummeted one after another into a bottomless blue void. At the dead end of the fleeing corridor, a massive crystal of pure light floated silently. The core of the maze. On its surface, an input field for a password flashed erratically, Y's final failsafe. With the deletion wave breathing down his neck, Kay frantically typed out the only unpredictable yet absolute phrase he had ever shared with Y. A trivial code born from an ordinary, flawed memory of the real world, back when they still lived among imperfect curves. A soft click resonated deep within his mind. The world inverted. A blinding flash of blue light exploded across his vision, and Kay's consciousness was dragged downward by an immense, suffocating gravity. Kay gasped, snapping his eyes open. He was back in his own room. Sitting in front of his monitor, his body was drenched in cold sweat. His limbs moved, and the clock on his desk ticked away in real time. On the screen, the browser displayed a single message. 404 not found. I'm back. Letting out a ragged sigh of relief, Kay covered his face with trembling hands. From outside his window, the faint hum of distant city traffic drifted in. Though he couldn't save Y, he had undeniably survived that sterile, mechanical world. To steady his nerves, Kay stood up and drew back the curtains to look outside. In that exact instant, his entire body froze solid. Spread out beneath him was the vast cityscape. The city lights, which usually flickered haphazardly into the twilight, looked terrifyingly bizarre. The silhouette of every single skyscraper was composed of flawless, unyielding straight lines and perfect right angles. And the light bleeding from those thousands of windows was entirely stained in that same cold, shadowless, uniform blue. Kay slowly brought his own hand up to his face. For a fraction of a second, he thought he saw his fingertips glitch and blur violently against the air. Had he truly managed to log out?